For the people of Puerto Rico. We love Puerto Rico. United States. And for Donald Trump's very, very large brain. Categories were lower than the world.
Lower than the
lower
world?
Than...
Oh, you're doing death as a proportion of cases. I'm talking about death as a proportion of population. That's where the US is really bad.
Well,
much worse than South Korea, Germany, etc.
You can't do that. You have
Why
to go...
can't I do that?
When somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be. We were testing 1 million people instead of 14 million people. We would have far fewer cases. We are going to win 4 more years. And then after that, we'll go for another 4 years. I don't think science knows, actually. And they say the noise causes cancer. You told me that one, okay?
No! No!
And I'd bring back a hell of a lot worse than waterboarding. Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible. Stand up, my club champion, stand up. Do I hit the ball good? Do I hit it long? Is Trump strong? Huh? Totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win. Make sure you get out and vote November 28th. I call it Super Duper because Super Duper is easier for people to understand than hydrosonic. I call it the Super Duper missiles that go. Proud boys, stand back and stand by.
He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. 5.5 years. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell.
This is a little bit different day because this isn't around. We're talking about a thing called the economy. They wanted to do a speech on the economy. Intellectual speech. You're all intellectuals today. Today we're doing it, and we're doing it right now. Remember, Joe, what kind of ice cream is your favorite? Vanilla. Oh, I like vanilla. Barack Hussein Obama.
Girl, you gotta move on.
It's the laugh of a crazy person, I will tell you. If you haven't known it, it's a crazy. She's crazy. That's the laugh of a person with some big problem. But that's what happened. This is inflation. This is tic-tac. This is tic-tac. This is inflation. This is what's happened. I just happened to have, somebody gave me this one today. Report, I wish, covered the oranges, how it started. Anonymous, really anonymous, gutless. They sacrifice every day for the furniture, future.
Jim Apple.
Mike Pounds.
I know words. I have the best words.
Yosemite, Nambia.
Thailand.
You have voter ID to buy a loaf of bread? I'm a very stable genius.
I tested positively toward negative, right?
Just think of it. We would be in World War II very quickly. God bless the United States. Oh, there's a fly. Oh, I wonder where the fly came from. See, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have had a fly up here. You're changing rapidly, but we can't take it any longer.
Our military is now at a level, will soon be at a level that it's never been before. It's, you see what's happening, and you see what's happening with funding. The funding of our military was so important, and so many military people are with us today. So just think.
He was the White House doctor. He was a great doctor, you know. He was an admiral, a doctor, and now he's a congressman. I said, which is the best if you had your choice? And he sort of indicated doctor because he loved looking at my body. It was so strong, powerful.
Are we close to seeing Mr. Kim here at the White House?
Could happen. I mean,
they talked about that yesterday.
I would have him. Yeah, I think it's something that could happen. Yeah. Hey, he's the head of a country, and I mean, he is the strong head. Mm-hmm. Don't let anyone think anything different. Right. He speaks, and his people sit up at attention. I want my people to do that.
But the real cost that's breaking families' backs and preventing women from participating in the workforce is childcare. Childcare is now more expensive than rent for working families and is costing the economy more than $122 billion a year. In fact, the cost of childcare is outpacing the cost of inflation, with the majority of American families of young children spending more than 20% of their income on childcare. If you win in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable? And if, what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Well, I would do that, and we're sitting down. You know, I was somebody, we had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue, but I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that, because look, childcare is childcare. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including childcare, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in our country, because I have to stay with childcare. I want to stay with childcare, but those numbers are small relative to the kind of economic numbers that I'm talking about, including growth, but growth also headed up by what the plan is that I just told you about. We're going to begin in trillions of dollars, and as much as child care is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kind of numbers we'll be taking in.
How will we lower the cost of daycare?
It's such an important question, Charlie. And I think one of the things that we can do is make it easier for family models to choose, or for families to choose whatever model they want, right? So one of the ways that you might be able to relieve a little bit of pressure on people who are paying so much for daycare is make it so that maybe like grandma or grandpa wants to help out a little bit more, or maybe there's an aunt or uncle that wants to help out a little bit more. If that happens, you relieve some of the pressure on all the resources that we're spending in daycare.
We're signing a health care plan within 2 weeks, a full and complete health care plan. We're going to be introducing a tremendous health care plan sometime hopefully prior to the end of the month. It's just about completed now. Over the next 2 weeks, I'll be pursuing a major executive order requiring health insurance companies to cover all pre-existing conditions for all customers.
You told Chris Wallace that this summer would come in 3 weeks. You promised an executive order on pre-existing.
I have it already.
The president will be laying out some additional healthcare steps in the coming, I would say, 2 weeks. Yeah.
And what we will do is we're looking at different plans. If we can come up with a plan that's going to cost our people, our population, less money and be better health care than Obamacare, then I would absolutely do it. But until then, I'd run it as good as it can be run.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options we have to do that. And you'll be hearing about it in the not too distant future. I went to a boat company in South Carolina. The boat, I said, how is it? He said, it's a problem, sir. They want us to make all electric boats. So I said, let me ask you a question. And he said, nobody ever asked this question. And it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. Very smart. He goes, I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight and you're in the boat and you have this tremendously powerful battery and the battery's now underwater? And there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there. By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark. I watched some guys justifying it today. Well, they weren't really that angry. They bit off the young lady's leg because of the fact that they were not hungry, but they misunderstood who she was. These people are crazy. He said there's no problem with sharks. They just didn't really understand a young woman swimming now really got decimated, and other people too. A lot of shark attacks. So I said, so there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards, or here. Do I get electrocuted? What? Feel the breeze? Because I don't want anybody going on me. We need every voter. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care. Those J6 warriors, they were warriors, but they were really more than anything else. They're victims of what happened. Make sure you get out and vote November 28th.